I'm just lazy. How many times have you told yourself this? How many times have you told yourself, I'm just a lazy person, it's just who I am? Or how many times have you heard that annoying guy who's constantly complaining about his life and how depressed he is and how down bad he is? When you offer a solution, he says, I'm just lazy. That isn't something I'm gonna do. This might sound a lot more familiar than you're actually willing to admit. Because let's be honest, a lot of us are living in denial. A lot of us don't want to believe that we've been this person. You see this guy over here? That used to be me. And that probably is you right now. Because you believe that you're just lazy. Well, what we're going to do in this video, we're going to actually delve into this concept of laziness, where it comes from, and how exactly it is ruining your life right now. Because let's be honest, you didn't come out your mum's womb just a lazy person. This is something that you've built. It's an identity that you've now, built for yourself, and it's not helping you at all. So let's get rid of it. Let's replace it with something better that's actually gonna, help you become the person you want to be. Because why else are we here on this weird spinning rock, other than to do what we want to do with our lives? So let me assist you. Let me give you a Kevin De Bruyne assist. Because the truth is, you're not lazy. You're just unmotivated, undisciplined, emotionally numb, and you're probably tired as fuck. And I'm gonna prove it to you. Just you wait. Because I'll be honest, I used to think I was lazy too until I realized that I was just addicted to escaping my reality. I just didn't want to be here. Okay, so I'm not big on making promises, but I do guarantee, if you do stick with me throughout this video, you are gonna realize that if this does sound like you right now, it doesn't have to be who you are. It doesn't have to be who you end up being. Because it's not about motivation. It's about honesty and just learning more about yourself. So let's do it. So let me show you the loop that I used to live in, and maybe you'll see yourself in it. Okay, quick reminder, just before I forget to do it, I've written down my notes here, so I'm making sure I actually stick to it. This is a whole series. This isn't just one random video that I'm doing. This is a series of videos that I'm doing. It's more like a roadmap for anyone who is kind of stuck right now in life. You feel like you're self-sabotaging, you're struggling to actually build the life that you're proud of. So in our past 3 videos, that was arc 1. So that was talking about things like masculinity, identity and fulfillment, kind of understanding yourself and what actually drives you. And this is the first part of arc 2, which is going to be about self-sabotage, habits and mental traps. So the kind of stuff that keeps you stuck even when you know better. And later in this series is going to be an arc 3, where we'll talk about things like distractions, numbness and emotional healing. So this is going to be about things like how to stop running from yourself and actually feel again. So without further ado, let's actually get into the video. Let's do it. And we're back. Let's do it. Okay, so you might have noticed, if you've been watching this channel for a while, that this art piece right here, although it's, fabulous, it's nowhere near our, standards usually for the channel. And that's gonna be because I had to do this myself. Usually we got the fiance to do it, but she's busy today, so I had to do a little something, a little something light, nothing crazy. Alrighty. I'm just lazy. Let's talk about it. Alright, so let's talk about the loop and where a lot of this laziness, this identity that we're lazy comes from. Because as I said, you didn't come out of your mum. Well, that sounds weird. You didn't come out of your mum as a lazy person. This is something that you've become accustomed to seeing yourself as. And there's probably a reason for that, which we'll get into. So as I said, this was my loop of laziness. So the kind of things that I used to blame on my laziness. So for me, maybe a bit like you, the first thing for me was like social media. So I'll be honest, man, I used to be one of those people that wake up and the first thing they do is scroll on their phone like an idiot. I used to wake up, still be in bed, just like eyes barely open, go on Instagram, start scrolling, watching people's stories, getting all jealous, like, oh, they're having so much fun, yeah, but XYZ, whatever. And that's one of the worst ways to start your day just in general. But it only puts you in a mentality of like, you're procrastinating, whatever that you're supposed to be doing that day. And this leads later in the day to our next subject, which is the P word. I don't think you can say it on YouTube, so yeah, that word, corn. That is something that comes into it, but simply because when you've got your brain full of like there's endorphins and shit from social media. Let's be honest, if you're on social media for more than 10 minutes, you're going to see some butt cheeks. You're going to see some twerking, you're going to see some sexual imagery, and it's going to get stuck in your brain for later. And that causes you to go on these sites and do atrocious things to yourself. And this leads to the next thing, which was for me gaming. Now, let's be honest. There is nothing wrong with gaming in moderation. I still play games right now. Right now I'm playing NBA 2K26, trying to get better at that, trying to get my green splash, trying to get my tween cross, step back, tween. Yeah, black up. That's what I'm trying to do right now. But let's be honest, gaming is a pipeline to excessive gaming. Literally gaming all day, all night. You're like spending 7 hours on it because you're trying to escape this thing, which is the big G. Guilt. Social media, porn, gaming, guilt. And you feel this guilt because you know that since you started your day with social media and that led to this and to that, you've already kind of gotten a mentality where you're not doing the things you want to do. I very much doubt when you started your day, your main goal was to scroll on social media, touch yourself to some videos, and then play video games. But you procrastinated your way to these things. And that causes you to simply restart. Because it becomes a cycle, a never-ending cycle. This was my life for a long time. Of course, there'll be things in between there like work, school, eating, maybe the gym. But yeah, this was a lot of it. And it just leads to you having this identity where it's like, okay, I'm not capable of doing things. I'm a lazy person. Let's be honest. If your life like revolved around scrolling social media, watching pornography, playing video games, feeling ashamed of yourself, you're probably going to start thinking that you're not a great guy, that you're not really worth much. And what you do is you start to convince yourself, tomorrow I'll be better, man. Tomorrow, I'll wake up and I'll just somehow fix it all and I'll be a better guy. I'll be the guy I need to be. And you don't. Simply because you're not fixing the real problem. You're just numbing it. You, in your heart of hearts, not your heart, in your brain, you actually do believe that scrolling on social media, watching porn, on gaming, will somehow alleviate you of the guilt you feel from doing those exact same things. That is how your mind plays tricks on you. It fills you with shame from doing these shameful things or these shameful things. And in order to escape the shame, guess what? You just do them more. Because shame does not work. And that's something a lot of guys need to understand. You can't shame yourself or shame someone into change. It has to come from inside. It has to come from a real place, like a bigger reason why they want to do more with their life than this. And the thing is, a lot of people will think that this is all just due to laziness or like a lack of willpower. And that couldn't be further from the truth. And I'm going to explain why. Let's do it. Let's do it. And if you know anything about neuroscience, we can probably, what's the saying? Connect the dots, connect the dots. Like what all of those things had in common. So social media, video games, touching yourself, XYZ. Put it in the comments what you think they all have related. And you have 10 points to your house if you get it right. Dopamine, the D word. Okay, dopamine. You've probably heard this word before from your favorite podcaster talking about it like it's some sort of evil entity, and it's not. Dopamine is simply the brain's reward system. That is literally all it is. It sends signals to your brain to reward you for doing things that are pleasurable to your brain. That is simply it. So it's not some evil entity that's trying to take over your life and ruin you. It's just something that's there to help humans keep doing the things that we do, The problem isn't dopamine itself. The problem is the way that we are using it and the way that it's being abused by companies. Let's be honest, a lot of companies understand how our dopamine systems work, and they've engineered whole companies and empires around triggering it in different ways. And if you flood your brain with all these cheap forms of dopamine, things that we spoke about before, gaming, porn, junk food even, social media, you start to get used to this form so much that like real life things start to feel boring. Like seeing your friends smile isn't interesting anymore. Seeing a ray of sunshine isn't interesting anymore. Going out for a walk in nature is like, oh, trees, boring. And that isn't the way that we are supposed to be as humans. That isn't the way that we are supposed to be. It's simply something that we've been engineered to believe that, these fake forms of dopamine are somehow superior just because they're more easily accessible. Ease of access does not mean quality. Do not get that confused. And let's be honest, a lot of us right now are going through some form of dopamine addiction. Whether it's, addiction to the dopamine you get from watching adult content, the dopamine you get from eating delicious but unhealthy food, whether it's the dopamine you get from, like scrolling on social media or scrolling on dating apps. You have to understand all of these things are playing some sort of role in your daily life and in your daily choices. And of course, addiction does have this like bad rep where it's like, okay, you're an addict, that's something to look down on. People even make fun of drug addicts and crackheads and shit, that's normalized. But addiction is kind of a lot deeper than we really think it is. Like the fact that you probably have a friend who's addicted to video games or addicted to porn isn't really as trivial as it sounds. And I'm gonna explain why. Because here's the truth about addiction that no one wants to really say out loud. Addiction isn't about weakness. You're not weak because you've become addicted to something. What it really is that it's you trying to find a way to manage your pain. That is all addictions are, especially modern addictions. They're all a kind of misguided way to relieve yourself of some pain. Not to say that it's a great option, but it's just what it is. A lot of people use their addictions to avoid feelings and emotions that they aren't comfortable with. And that is because for a lot of people, addiction is simply just pain management. That is it. Maybe they don't realize it on like a daily level, like a daily kind of conscious level, that they're trying to avoid their pain and they're trying to avoid like discomfort in these addictions. Maybe they just think it's something fun. Maybe they just think they enjoy it. Maybe they just think it's natural. Maybe they just think it's part of a healthy lifestyle. But a lot of the time, all it is that we as humans, we're very vulnerable, We're quite vulnerable creatures, especially mentally. And when we are conditioned to, not be able to express our emotions or to express how we're feeling, or we don't have the education to even do that, our mind and our body finds another outlet to avoid this pain, to transmutate this pain. And for a lot of us, all it is we pick something else. If we have the pain of, maybe feeling inadequate, feeling useless, instead of trying to become useful, we just find a way to distract ourselves from that reality. So you're not addicted because you're weak. You're just addicted to things because you're in pain and you don't know how to deal with your pain. And the reality is that, escaping your reality isn't laziness. It's not laziness. For a lot of time, it takes a decent amount of effort, but it's more like self-protection. It's more like your brain saying, I don't know how to handle this right now. Let's do something else, please. And you are going to say, of course we can. Yes, why not? But there are consequences, because every time that you escape, you're pushing the pain deeper and deeper instead of dealing with it. And the deeper you push it, much like nature, for example, if you're pushing like pressure onto something, or like onto a tectonic plate, for example, you're likely to produce or create a natural disaster. An earthquake, for example, a tsunami, for example, maybe even a hurricane. Who knows? Wherever it is, it's going to be some bad shit. And that's probably why, watching motivational videos, chasing some sort of dopamine hit from watching motivational stuff, it doesn't really work. I've tried it, it doesn't work. You feel good for maybe a couple of days, do some push-ups at 3 a.m, maybe you have a little chat with yourself in the mirror, and then you wake up and do the same shit. So what is the answer? What is the answer to this perceived laziness? What's the answer to becoming someone who doesn't have to label themselves as lazy and actually wants to make something out of their life? What's the answer? Let me give it to you. Let me give it to you. Just wait there, I'm gonna give it to you. Ha ha he, he ha. Cha cha chi cha cha cha. Did I write 6? Wow. Oh, I can't have been right for shit. Reflect. Oh, that was tiring. So, ta-da! Probably not the flashy answer you're looking for. Probably not the like super crazy, inspirational, mental gymnastics kind of answer you wanted, but it's the truth. The answer to getting out of this mindset of laziness and procrastination is simply to be honest with yourself. Honesty. Honesty is the best policy. It's a saying for a reason because it makes a lot of sense. Let's be honest. So if you're, let's be honest. So if you're someone who is lazy, or you see yourself as lazy and you procrastinate and you go out of your way to escape your reality, what you're doing is lying to yourself. You're not being honest with yourself. You're trying to pretend like things are happening that shouldn't be happening. A lot of time you're like modifying your life to an extent where, let's say for example, you're someone who's dealing with like anxiety, you're dealing with like depressive thoughts, for example, and your escape is to watch funny movies, like all day. You watch funny things, you scroll on TikTok, whatever, watch funny videos. What you're trying to do is bring that emotion, which is like happiness, joy, into your life without actually having to earn it, without actually having to change your life to ensure you could actually be joyful naturally. And it's the same thing with like guys that watch porn, for example. You're trying to engineer a sexual relationship, which is what you want in your life right now. You want to maybe have a steady girlfriend, you want to have someone you can feel intimate with, and your only understanding of intimacy is sexual, and that is why porn appeals to you. As simple as that. You're trying to be dishonest with yourself. So in order to be honest with yourself when you're going through these points where you feel like lazy, you actually have to sit with yourself for a bit. Okay, what am I trying to avoid? What am I trying to get away from? What thoughts make me feel uncomfortable? Let me look at them and actually ask myself some questions. And yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, it's going to be difficult. Yes, it's going to be scary. All good and important things in your life are going to be scary. Just put it out there, just in case you didn't know. Just in case you thought life was supposed to be easy for some reason. No, it's not. Anything that you want in this life, you're going to have to work for. And that includes peace. And that includes happiness. And that includes being someone who doesn't see themselves as lazy. There's a cost for that. And that cost is comfort. You can't live in comfort if you don't want to be someone who believes you're lazy. You have to be someone who actually puts yourself out there. You do things that you believe or you used to believe that you couldn't do. Or you do things that you believe that a lazy person wouldn't do. And you do those things. Like a lot of the time, you're going to see massive changes in like your perception of your laziness and whatever. If you literally just ask yourself like, what am I running from? Literally like, what am I running from? Am I just running from feeling like bored? Am I just running away from feeling a bit anxious about my life? Am I just running away from a bit of existential dread? Sorry, like it's gonna be there regardless. Like after you're done gooning, after you're done with your game session, after you're done scrolling, it's still gonna be there. So why not just, face it right now? What you're doing is delaying it, pushing it down the road. Eventually, the more you push it down the road, the more dirt it picks up and the heavier it's gonna be. And the heavier it's gonna be when you need to actually remove it from the road. Okay, so that's honesty, and obviously healing and reflection. This is quite self-explanatory. If you don't wanna be a lazy person, you have to reflect on what have I done so far in my life that's made me feel like I'm lazy? Is this like a belief that has been drilled into me from my actions, or is this from like the way people have spoken to me in the past. Maybe I had like very strict parents who were very, very studious and put a lot of pressure onto me to be an excellent student, and I wasn't able to do it, and that's why I think I'm lazy. Maybe I'm lazy because, you know, I'm not happy with my body and I should be working out more. Okay, how do I fix that? Maybe I should work out more. Maybe I should stop eating junk food. Maybe I should do this. There's always a solution, and you just trying to get away from the solution and just go on to straight distractions is exactly what's keeping you stuck. It's exactly what's keeping you in the same position. You need to stop being you need to stop being a little bitch, honestly. Stop being a little bitch with yourself and like kind of like coddling yourself and being like, oh no, it's okay. I'm just lazy. It's okay. I'm just a lazy boy. I'm not gonna be happy with my life because I'm just lazy. That doesn't sound very good. Like, if saying it out loud to other people and like you don't immediately cringe, then something's wrong with you, bro. Because when you actually deal with your pain, like the root of it, like where it comes from, you don't have to keep like trying to escape your life, because you actually love your life, because you actually enjoy your life, because you're actually excited about your life. That's the antidote. You need to be honest enough about yourself to actually become excited about your lived experience, not just trying to run away from it all the time. Okay, so let's wrap it up. You're not lazy. Stop calling yourself lazy. It is gross. You're not lazy, you're just escaping. You're addicted to running away. And that is okay as long as you are able to acknowledge it and now do something about it. Because until you're actually honest about why you're running in the first place, you're always going to be stuck in the loop of just repeating the same cycles. So you've got to heal the pain, face it directly, stare at it, dead in the eyes, and don't blink. And that is the only way that you're going to break the cycle. So if this hit you, make sure you follow me, because I've got more bangers coming your way to actually help you break down the things you're struggling with and live the life that you want to live, man. Why not? If I know stuff, I'm going to pass it out to you guys, because you're my family, you know, you're my brothers, you're my sisters, you're my loved ones, you're my peoples, them. I got y'all. Till next time. Peace.